Okay, welcome everybody to this new tutorial. In today's lesson, we're going to try to figure out how to change the first letter of each word into a capital letter. So if we are given a string, we want to return a new string. The first word in each word of the string is capital. So for example, we can take a crazy ass string like this. I can say, what's computer? And I have an apple. Okay, that returns a strange string, all uppercase, lowercase. What's a computer? I have an apple. Let's create a function that returns this sentence with the first word. The first letter in each word as an uppercase. So how do we do that? Well, let's first of all, we have to create a function, and let's just call it title case. And we'll give the function a code block. Go down here and call the function outside of the function and call it title case. And we have to return something in this function, obviously. We have to return what? This is a string. So let's pass a string through the function parameters, and then let's return the string, and bam, function is working. Okay, so we have to do some magic with this. What's the first thing we got to do? Well, let's first of all try to return this with a let's put everything, all the characters in the string, let's put it into an array. So let's create a variable. We'll call it array. And with this, we're going to want to take the string, and the method is split, right? That's how we take everything in the string and we convert it into an array. And then we want to return the array, right? So now we have what's a computer? Do I have an apple? It's all in an array now. But we want to separate each word into its own item in the array. That means we have to split everything off by what? A space. Okay, now we have multiple items in the array separated by a space. All the capitalization is still screwy, that's fine. The first thing we want to do is separate each word so we can go through each word and actually affect them, try to change them the way that we want them to be changed. So, all right, cool, we're getting somewhere. We have a variable for our array in which every word is, okay, we're good. We can take that variable, we can do some good stuff with it. Now let's create a new variable. Let's call this our results, okay? This is what we'll be returning eventually at the very end. So let's change this to result, excuse me, and we don't have anything for that yet, so it's undefined. The result is where the magic is going to happen. So in this variable is where we're going to do all sorts of our crazy ass shit, and we're going to get this thing to go. So what's the first thing we can do? We can have our result is equal to the string, and then that returns the string again. We can have our result equal, in the array. That's where we were before. So all the magic with the array, it's back to where it was. It's returned in the result. So we're storing it here in this variable. Now we can start doing our fun stuff. Now, okay, if we're gonna actually affect each character, or the characters we want in this array, we have to do some magic. And the magic we're gonna use for this is a method that's called .map. Okay, it's super powerful, and we love using this. It's confusing, but let me just break it down for you step by step. Because when you get good at using .map method, that's when you can do some real, some real gentle stuff. Right now, we're taking a sledgehammer to this array. We're taking every item, and we're just doing all this sorts of crap with it by bludgeoning it to death. We want to actually affect individual characters, so we want to go a little bit more gentle and go at it with a scalpel instead of a sledgehammer. For that, we're going to use the .map method, okay? This is the magic we're going to be using today. I'm going to go through like 2 or 3 more methods, but for now, let's focus on .map. What do we need for .map? Well, we pass a function through .map. This is what usually makes it confusing with this method. That throws a lot of people off. When you have .map, you want to use a function. Of course, the function is going to have a parameter, and the function is going to have a code block, right? All that fun stuff. So it's already getting confusing enough. We have a function here. Inside the function, we have a function. It's recursive. Oh, God. Like, where do we go from here? Me, personally, I like to put functions on a new line just to make them easier to understand. We have our function parameters here. Let's open up the code block. This is where we're going to put some more fancy-ass shit inside the function. But for now, we got it spaced out the way we want. So we have a function. What do we have to do? Well, we have to return something in the function, obviously, right? What are we going to return? We don't have any parameters here. Let's have a new parameter. Typically, in the map method, you return a parameter. It's called value. This is where you can play around with stuff, VAL for value. So if we return the value, we're going to return everything just the way it was. Now we have the stage set to actually do some magic here. which is what I'm going to go excuse me, what I want to go through with you today. So we got our map method. We're passing a function through the map. We have a value as a parameter for that function. We're not naming it anything. It's an anonymous function, but we have the value passed, and we're returning the value. So we're going to want to try to do whatever we can right here. Okay, what's that going to be? Well, okay, now we can go through bit by bit, and we can affect the characters. But first of all, let's try something called to uppercase. We can change everything, change it to lower. Actually, yeah, change it to uppercase before. Hang on, to uppercase, and then we give it this should work. Now everything is to uppercase. So we changed every character in the array to an uppercase. That's making progress. Okay, that's what we want to do. But the thing is, we have to find the characters and then replace them with the uppercase character. That's how we're doing. I mean, we could theoretically go through this. Oops, I think my mouse stopped working. Where are you? Oh, wonderful. We can go through this and say to lowercase. Why aren't you working? Oh boy. Oops, mouse stopped working, folks. Give me just a second. There we go. Ah! Get this out of here. Okay, so to lowercase and then run it. Everything's lowercase. Now, we could have done this outside of the function without map, but I just want to show you how these methods work. We're going to work with to uppercase, and we're going to make that our deal. So the next method I want to show you then is what's called replace. And how do we replace something in a function? Well, let's comment this out for now. I want to show you real quick how replace works. Let's say we have a string in a variable, and we call it 5 years ago. Well, that's not right. I mean, if we console log the string and we say 7 years ago, that's wrong. Okay, what's the actual saying? 7 years ago. So instead of going back and just deleting it, let's just create a new string, and let's say let's use the replace method. So we'll take our string and we'll replace it. Replace. We have to pass in parameters to this replace method, and we're going to take the word 5, and we have to pass in 2 parameters to replace. What we're going to replace and then what we're going to replace it with. We want to replace the word 5 with the word 4. Okay. If we return the new string now, we get return the new string. We are going to get 7 years ago. Okay, that's how the replace method works. So if we go through our function one more time, and we're going to return to uppercase, we actually want to take the value. Okay, that's the function. The replace method, everything in the parentheses, and what's the okay? We're not replacing it with anything because we don't have 2 parameters, right? We just have 1. So all the characters are put back into an array. It messes everything up. So we want to take what's called value CharAt. Excuse me, I haven't talked about. There's another method I want to talk to you about called CharAt. Okay, CharAt method. Let's say I have a string like this, and I say I am the best. Okay, and I console log that string, str, and then of course I get I am the best. Get out of here. Let's comment this all out for now, and then run it. And I am the best. Let's say I want to try to find. Let's go through this string, and let's actually pull different characters out of a certain index. We start counting at 0. We can find characters by using what's called the CharAt method. Okay, which character is at index 0? Hope you know this. It's I. Which character is at index 4? It is it's a space right there. Which character is at index 5? E. The. Which character is at index 10 maybe? It's E. What about 13? Exclamation point. I got all the way through the end. You see how that works? CharAt actually points to certain characters in the string by index, counting at 0. So we want to find the first character in each word. That means the first character is going to be at index 0. We already have all of the words in the array separated out by items. So from there, we can actually point to the first character in each array, first character in each item in the array at index 0. So if we have the replace method, we want to replace val.CharAt and the 0 item is the first character in the array, and we want to replace it with val.char@0 to uppercase. What happens? Ooh, not quite there yet. We are replacing, what did I miss here? We're replacing, we want the results, not quite, didn't quite get it. CharAt0, what am I missing? 2 uppercase. It should have returned with, oops. So first of all, if we have return val.replace computer, I should have gotten each thing back. Let me think about this for a second. Return, replace, 2 uppercase. It should work, but I'm not getting it. If we join everything together, it just didn't work. Okay, so I figured it out. We're getting somewhere here. Let's take this out for now. If I return everything with the result, I get what's a computer? Don't I have an apple? But look what I did here. I changed the first character in each word with an uppercase, but I forgot something beforehand. I forgot to add 2 lowercase dot split, and then return results dot join with a space. And that's it. All right. Thank you very much.